Hi, I'm Steve Duval from Thor Motor Coach. This is Getting to Know Your RV, and in this video we are going to get to know the Ace. So the Ace is a very unique motorhome. It was the first to take all the best qualities of a Class C, the best qualities of a Class A, and evolve them together. And that's what ACE stands for, Class A, Class C evolution. And there are a lot of great features and functions. And we're going to start with your entry door, because this is where all the good times begin, right? So you have a couple of keys here on your key ring, and you have two locks on your handle. You have a top lock and you have a bottom lock. The top lock is going to be your deadbolt. The bottom lock is going to lock only your handle. So depending on the amount of security you want, you go ahead and lock those. Right now it is open. We are going to open our Ace door and go to our battery disconnect switch, which is a rotary dial here on the entry wall. And we'll show you all the other switches when we get out here. But you simply turn it from the 12 o'clock position to the 3 o'clock position and turn that house battery on. Now what you have done is you have fired up all the 12 volt systems in your Ace. And the way that this is wired is we do have our house batteries tied to our chassis battery. So when you are driving down the road, that you are going to take and charge all of your batteries. When your generator is running, you're going to take and charge your batteries. When you're plugged into shore power, you're going to charge your batteries. So it is very important that you take that battery disconnect switch, turn it on, leave it on the entire time you are out on the road having an adventure, no matter where you are going. You are going to want to turn it off when you are done using your motorhome for an extended period of time. Turn it from the 3 back to the 12 position. Now that will turn your batteries off. However, there is still going to be a drain in here. As we do have detectors, there's a clock on the microwave, and all those are going to be little small draws on the battery. So when you are winterizing, you have a couple of options. You can take and physically disconnect your batteries, and we'll show you where those are here in a few minutes. Or when we get over to talk about electric, you can take and use an adapter and plug into a 110 outlet wherever you happen to be able to store your motorhome if you have that luxury. So we'll talk about all of that. But first we're going to head up front and we're going to walk our way down. We'll walk around the back. We'll talk about towing. We'll walk over to the other side where we'll talk about electric and plumbing. We'll walk up front and we will show you the hood, and then we'll walk inside and talk about the interior features. So walking around up front here, we do have heated remote mirrors. The top portion you will adjust just like you do in your automobile with the little lever you will take and up, down, left, right. The bottom you will adjust manually like this. You'll kind of dial it in, and I'll show you how you can do that from the driver's side. If you have a long reach, you can usually open that window, reach out, and adjust it. You need to have somebody help you with this one. There are also cameras mounted in here, and this is a really great feature to have. So when you're driving and you turn on your directional, be it the right directional or the left directional, you get a nice crisp view down the side of your motorhome. So you can see if there is a small car in your blind spot, maybe a motorcycle. And if there is a small car in there that you just can't catch through the camera, you have this window here, which is great. So you can, as you're driving, just give a glance out. You can see if there's anybody right down here in a smaller, lower vehicle. This is also, we call it a pet window, as the Ace is a pet-friendly motorhome, which we'll talk about in depth here in a little bit. But this is also where the poochies like to hang out and look out as they enjoy the ride. But a couple of features here from the window. As we move on down, this is one of the legs for our awning. We're going to put that out because you might want some shade when you are watching your exterior TV. And this is a great feature to have here. Notice that this lifts up. This does lock into place. All your storage bays will have a key and 2 little turn knobs. So to lock those, you just turn the knobs down and then you use the key and you lock that into place so it stays secure. Just make sure that you lock all of your bays with the dials, with the rotary knobs here, and the key before you hit the road, because you want to keep everything nice and locked up. You don't want bays flying open or any of your camping gear to fly out. TV is on a swivel. You can pull that out. You can adjust it left, right, up, back, depending on where the sun is shining or where you happen to be sitting. There's also a Bluetooth soundbar down here as well. And this is great because you can take and use it as the speakers for the television, or you can take and pair it with your phone. All you have to do is look and, okay, you pair it like you would any other Bluetooth device. You turn your Bluetooth on, you find it, you pair it, and now you can take and stream all your favorites from here to your soundbar. But let's say we have the camping chair set up and we are enjoying a fire pit, or we are grilling out, which you can do. We'll talk about the exterior propane connection here in a few minutes. Inside, there's a button labeled awning. All you have to do is hold down the out button and your awning will come out. And this is a great feature to have to give you a little shade if there's a light mist out and you still want to be outside and listen to the sound of the rain, or maybe at night listen to the sounds of nature. This is a great option to have. A couple of recommendations with your awning though. If you're going to pull up and head out for the day on an adventure, bring your awning in the event there'd be a weird weather event. You wouldn't want to do any damage to your awning. Same thing at night. We recommend you put it in at night for the same reasons in a weird weather event or a storm. There's also a light here, and you simply turn the light on. That is one of the switches on the inner door we'll show you, but a nice LED strip. The really nice thing about this is you can use it with the awning is in or if the awning is out. And so when you are out for the day and you come back at night and it's dark, right? So if you keep your LED light on, you'll have a nice light that will illuminate the side of your coach. It's not going to be obnoxious to neighbors. The other great thing about this awning too is it is pitch adjustable. Right up here, there are a couple of levers you squeeze. You pull those in and there's a little pin, and all you have to do is just take and squeeze those in, and then you move that up to the pitch that you want. And that way you can, maybe there's a little rain or whatever, or you want to get shade, whatever it is, you can go ahead and pitch that left or right. And then you can we'll just finish putting our awning in and go ahead and use this, create some shade, a little shelter from the weather, a nice light. It's really a great feature to have on your motorhome. We're going to go ahead and finish putting our awning in. And we're going to keep working down, opening all the bays and talking about all the features on your Ace. Your awning is in, you're ready to roll. Make sure it is all the way in before you set up camp. As we move down to our first bay here, this houses batteries and it houses the hydraulics for our one-touch leveling system. So first, let's talk a little bit about batteries. Okay, we talked about your chassis battery and your house battery being tied together with your battery disconnect. This is where your batteries are located. If you were going to disconnect them for winterizing, this is where you would do that. What we have here is the hydraulic system for a one-touch leveling jacks, which we'll show you how to operate when we go inside. In the event you would need to override your system, something is happening, there are clearly labeled colored hoses here. You would just take and you would loosen up what you need to loosen with the correct size wrench. There's a little cap here. You take the cap off and there's a little chuck inside. You take your electric drill, which is going to be easy, or a socket, and you can go ahead and wind those up, and then you tighten everything back up. So this is also your hydraulic fluids back there as well. So you're going to want to keep an eye on that level. A couple other things to point out in here. You do have a couple of breakers in here in the event your jacks aren't coming down or your slides aren't coming out, or just something is off. Come out in this bay. You have a 50 amp and a 100 amp. If they do pop, there'll be a little yellow lever down there. All you have to do is just pop that back into place to reset those breakers. We also have our pet tie down here. So you can run your dog leash up through here, clamp it down here, and now your pet can't run away. Or if you have bikes or a golf cart, or maybe you towed some, whatever it is you may have towed, you can go ahead and chain it up in here and lock the bay, and that will stay secure for you at night. Notice a lot of windows on this motorhome all the way down. You can get some nice ventilation in here. We'll show you how to open them when we go inside. But what's nice about these on a day like today where it's dreary and it's been kind of rainy on and off, you just turn the knob clockwise to open, counterclockwise to close, but they pitch open awning style. And that way when it's raining, the rain isn't going to come in. You can still get some nice ventilation, especially when you turn on the fans. And we'll show you how to do that when we go inside. Nice large storage bay here. One of the nice things about these storage bays is they're made of a nice solid durable plastic rotocast material, and they will not wear out on you. They're easy to clean out. You can throw whatever you need to throw in here, and if it's dirty, there's a little drain plug in the back. So you can take your hose, you can scrub it out, rinse it out, and all the water will drain down here. This particular bay happens to have some pass-through, which would be great for maybe a pair of skis or some fishing poles, anything like that. But you're going to get a lot of storage on this motorhome. All right, we are back to our entry door. One more thing I do want to talk about on this entry door. You do have a nice grab handle as you go in, which is important for a lot of people. Another one inside, you get those points of contact. Is this step here is what I want to talk about. Is you notice as I shut and open the door that the step goes in and out, but you may not always want that. when you're set up for camp. Maybe you want that step out all the time. Inside there is a switch labeled step. You hit that, and now the step will stay out. So when you are going in and out, it's not constantly coming in and out. You have that permanent step there. You also have some nice storage under here. You just pull out a little drawer there, maybe some tools. This bay is very unique. I like this because this is a little mudroom bay. You see there's a little mudroom in here, passes through, so maybe some muddy shoes, dirty shoes, whatever you want to do. Some people, I have heard, actually use this bay as a cat box. They lock this up tight so nothing's going to happen to their pet, but they put the litter box in here and the cat goes down there and you take it out this way. So just some things people do with their motorhomes, but a nice little mudroom, motorhome mudroom for you. As we work our way down here, this is going to be the service port for your refrigerator. All you have to do is take these two black tabs and turn them. This will pop out if you ever need to do service on your refrigerator or have it serviced. That's where this will happen. This is the exhaust for your furnace. This does get hot. Not a whole lot of maintenance you have to do here. So really just watch out if you're running your furnace. You do need your propane on. We'll talk about propane in a little bit here, but this is the exhaust for your furnace. When you're winterizing, you may want to cover this up. A lot of people do, just to keep insects and bugs and critters and spiders from building a nest in there. So your furnace is here. Our exterior propane connection is here. We'll talk more about propane and where to fill it on the other side. What's nice about this is this allows you to take and bring along a gas grill, because sometimes you get to a campground, they may not have grills, or the ones that are at the campsites are just nasty. You've seen them, right? They're all greasy and disgusting. You don't want to touch it. You don't want to be near it. This allows you to take and bring your own small portable gas grill. Fire pits, there are little portable fire pits you can buy now, which are really neat because a lot of campgrounds won't allow firewood in or out. You can connect that to here. Now, the one thing to remember about this is that this is a regulated fixture. So in the event you're not getting the gas flow that you want to your grill, go ahead and remove the regulator from the grill, as this is already regulated for you. Walking on down here, we have a couple of 110 outlets here, which is really nice. So you can plug in maybe an air compressor or maybe a shop vac or a blender, whatever it may be. Keep in mind though that these are GFCI protected outlets. So in the event they are not working, when we go inside, we'll show you where that is located in the bathroom and how to reset it. Works just like it does at home, but a real nice feature to have. And now we're going to take and we're going to talk about some tire maintenance. Now this does have an inner and an outer tire, and you are going to need to check your tire pressures, make that part of your regular maintenance. This is something that you should do before you hit the road for a few reasons, especially since there are two tires. You don't want your inner tire to be underinflated. When your tire is underinflated, you're going to have more tire hitting the road there, and you're going to build up a lot of heat, some very excessive heat. Same if you overinflate your tires. They're going to be really hard. You're not going to have as much surface on the road. They are going to wear unevenly. They're going to be more prone to punctures. So make sure you're keeping them at the proper PSI, and that is found on a sticker inside your motorhome. Right next to the driver's seat, you'll see these stickers. This is what you want to keep your tires at. These stickers up here are also going to be key when we talk about towing. So make sure you are checking your tire pressure. And the way we have this set up is we do have valve stem extenders here. So you can simply unscrew the knob, unscrew the cap, take your tire pressure gauge, and you can check your tires for both the inner and the outer tire. And again, check these frequently before you hit the road. Make sure you're checking your tires when they are cool. You don't want to do this after you've already driven somewhere. That's not the time to do it. Make sure you're checking your tires when they are cool. We have an entire video on keeping your tires inflated properly. We'll go ahead and we will attach that link in the description below. Moving up, we do have our fresh tank fill. So when you are ready to head out, this simply unscrews, and you take a hose just like this one, and this is the hose you're going to want to use anytime water is involved, that you're going to use to shower, you're going to use for your sink, whatever it may be. It's white with a blue stripe. You can get this off of Amazon or your favorite camping store, anywhere camping gear is sold, and you are going to have to purchase this on your own. It's not included with your Thor motorhome. What you do is you take this end, you simply put it into the fill, you run the other end over to your faucet, wherever it may be. Maybe you're filling up at your house before you're leaving, or you're filling up at the campground before you're heading out to your next stop. Either way, you turn it on, this will fill up. There's a vent over here. When you start to see the water drip out of that, that is how you know that it is full. When you are done, Simply turn your faucet off, remove your hose, and screw your cap back on. Now let's say that you are done for the season and you want to drain your tank. That is real easy to do. You have a valve in here, a nice 1-inch pipe. You just turn the valve and then you will be able to drain your fresh water tank. So that's how you fill it. Down here's where you drain it, and another nice large storage bay. One of the things I do want to point out about every storage bay in here is it has its own light, which is really a nice feature. So you can come out here when you roll into the campground late, because that is what seems to happen, right? We say we're going to be there at 6, but we find a new place to eat in a little town, or we see a farmer's market. That would be a neat place to stop when we roll in late. It's dark, we have a late check-in, we're unpacking all of our gear. A light in each bay is going to make it really, really easy for you to see everything you have to get out and set up. Some models of Ace have this great exterior kitchen. You have a sink, a fridge, a lot of storage. You have a 110 plug out here. And if you have this exterior kitchen, that means you will have an inverter. Your inverter is going to take all of the 12-volt power and change it over so you can use appliances like this in the 110 outlet, like your refrigerator. Now, do keep in mind that your inverter is going to draw power from your house batteries. A great bay here for maybe a tool bag, whatever you need. So another little bay out here. You're going to have plenty of storage inside and outside on this motorhome. And if you need to bring anything else along, how about hooking up a trailer or towing a vehicle? You can do that. We're going to walk around back and talk a little bit about towing. Out back on the Ace, we are going to start up top. You do have a camera right up top you can see above the sea. That is going to be a great option to have when you put the motorhome in reverse, or if you would like to turn it on when you're driving to see what's behind you down that highway, maybe take a look at your tow vehicle. You can go ahead and turn that on at any time you want. We'll show you how to do that. We do have a ladder that takes you up to your roof. You're going to want to use this ladder to climb up to your roof to do maintenance issues, okay? So maybe you want to scrub your roof for the year, you're getting ready to put it away. Maybe you need to check the seals. Maybe you want to put a SIM card into your Winegard Connect, which we're going to talk about when we move inside. So make sure that you're using your ladder to climb up there for maintenance items, not when you are parked at the track or the soccer game, wherever you may be, to go up there with some camping chairs to hang out. I know a lot of people like to stand up there for photographs. You know, they're standing there with the drone flying by. Not really the best use for that roof. Make sure you are using it as intended for your servicing. We do have our lights, our brake lights, our tail lights. We do have a nice window back here. We'll talk a little bit about this. This is an exit window, not one you're going to use for ventilation. This is where you're going to fill your gas up. What's nice about this is because it's in the rear, you can just drive right up. You don't have to guess left or right. You can use any pump you pull into, fill up here. Nice steel bumper. One of the advantages to having a steel bumper on the Ace is if you accidentally back into something or something backs into you or whatever it may be, it's going to be a lot easier and cheaper to replace a steel bumper than it is a fiberglass rear cap. So a nice steel bumper for you. Working our way down, we do have the exhaust for our generator. This is going to be hot, so make sure that you are aware that that is the exhaust for your generator. As we talk a little bit down here about towing, you do have a hitch here. This is an 8,000-pound hitch. You have a 500-pound tongue weight. You do have a 7-pin and a 4-pin connector down here. If you would like to hook up a trailer brake controller, you can most certainly do that. A couple of things to keep in mind when you're towing is there are some numbers you need to be aware of, and we talked about the stickers inside, so we're going to show you those stickers and talk about what they mean. One of the things you need to know is your gross vehicle weight, which is going to be your curb weight, your cargo, your water, your passengers, your propane. That is going to be everything except your tow vehicle. When you count in your tow vehicle, that is going to be the gross combined weight rating, and those are important numbers to know. You also need to take a look at this yellow sticker. This is your occupant and cargo carrying capacity, your OCCC. This number right here lets you know how much weight you can actually add to your motorhome. Gross vehicle weight rating is another number you need to be aware of. This is the maximum allowable weight of a fully loaded motorhome. You're going to find a lot of this information on thormotorcoach.com on the specs page. You can pull this sheet up and you're going to find those numbers here. So to get the amount of towing, your towing capacity, you're going to take your GCWR and you're going to subtract it from your GVW. That number is how much you can tow. We have a complete video on towing, breaking down cargo capacity depending on how you are towing. We're going to include that into the link below in the description. It's a great video to watch if you're going to be towing a lot with your Ace. Back here we also have a plate for your license plate. And that wraps up our rear end. We are going to take and work around to the other side where we are going to talk about plumbing and electric. As we walk down our driver's side, a few things I want to point out back here. You'll notice on this rear slide, what appears to be an awning up top is actually not an awning. That is a slide topper that is going to be standard on every Ace, and it is going to be on every slide room. And there's a great reason we do this for you. One, when your slide comes out, you don't want the top of your slide wall exposed, especially as you get into, maybe you're exploring a place where it's like this, and you got some beautiful fall colors and a lot of leaves and sticks are falling. You don't want that debris to collect on the top of your slide wall. You don't want all that rain to sit on your top of the slide wall, otherwise your slide wall may leak. This way, with the slide topper coming out on top of the slide wall, all of that just rolls off and your slide room will get a lot more life out of it. We're going to talk a little more about slide walls when we go inside. As we work our way down, another nice storage bay for you, maybe some camping chairs in here. Again, you do have your own light in here. You lock it up, you turn the knobs, use your key, and you lock this one. We're going to move down to this bay and we're going to talk about our generator. Now, depending on the model you have, you are going to have either a 4,000 watt generator or a 5,500 watt generator. These run off your gas tank, which is a really nice feature to have. That way you can constantly run your generator, you don't have to worry about it, and there is a safety measure in place. When your gas tank gets down to quarter of a tank, the generator will run, that way you don't get stranded and you don't run out of gas. A couple of things to talk about this, and this is a great feature to use as you are even driving down the road. So let's say that you have it loaded up, your friends, your family are in here. Well, there isn't going to be enough air conditioning coming through from just the dash, right? You're going to want to run your air conditioner. Well, you can go ahead and fire this up and use it while you're driving down the road. Great way to do that. If you are exploring a town and you pull off to the side, and you can actually do that. I have done that with, I've taken a number of Aces out on vacation with my family, and we'll find a town and we'll just park out on the side of the street for a while. And yes, it does take up a few spaces there, but I've never run into any issues. And what's really nice is we turn our generator on. We go explore, right? We go explore, we have a good time, or if you're at some parks, you can do that. You come back, your air conditioner is running, your coach is nice and cool, you can run your microwave, your refrigerator is nice and cold, you can have lunch, you can go out and explore again. Keep in mind though, there are some parks that have nice RV facilities for you to hang out in. However, you are not allowed to run your generator when you are not in the motorhome. So you're going to have to do a little research on that, and we'll talk about how it won't really impact your refrigerator because you can run it off your propane tank, but a great feature to have. You are going to have to do some maintenance on your generator. It is recommended from Onan after the first 20 hours of usage, you do change your oil. Then the regular service intervals are 150 hours after that. Your oil will go in right here, and you can even start your generator from here. It's real easy to do. All you have to do is take and hold down this button to prime it. You're just going to hold it down until the light turns red. Now you know that it is preheated, it is ready to roll. You take and you hold down the start button. And now your generator is fired up. We'll turn it off. Easy to do, right? You can also start it from inside. We'll show you how to do that. So that's easy to use. Your generator, go ahead and use it while you are on the road, and you can cover it right back up. Just put your cover in place, lock it up, and lock up your bay. Next bay, a lot of action happening in here. Okay, and now this motorhome is going to be set up a little different than some of the other floor plans. This is the 27-2, so you're going to have two places to dump your tanks. This rear bay is going to be your sewer and going to be your gray water for your bathroom. The next gray tank that we will show you is going to be for your kitchen in this particular floor plan. So let's walk through how we do this here. This is really set up nice and easy for you to use, and this is something that you do need to do. The black is going to be your sewer, right? Everything from your toilet. The gray water, the gray tank, is going to be everything from your showers and your sinks. These are heated tanks. You may have a heat pad we'll show you on the control panel when we go inside. So that's nice that you can go ahead and use this in colder climates and not worry about the tanks freezing. If you plan on going into really, really cold conditions, you are probably going to want to add some more insulation and possibly some extra tank heaters. But the way this is set up is, yes, you can use it in when it's cold out, if you like enjoying camping when it's cold. So here we go. This is what we need as we get set up to drain and flush our tanks. So we'll flush down in the other bay here. This is going to be the dump. The way that we have this set up here for you is the 3-inch valve is on a swivel, so that makes it really nice and easy. You can keep this cap in place and in the up position, so when you're driving, nothing sloshes around, because the last thing you want to do is come out to a nasty mess inside your bay. So there's a cap down here. You unscrew and you set this off to the side. You make sure that your valves are closed before you do any of this, okay? Take and turn your valve down. You can take and remove the cap, and there are bayonet style prongs on here. You're going to take this end, run it up, and lock it into place. Take this end and run it to the drain at the campground or the dump station, wherever you happen to be. You put that into place. Move this out of the way. One thing, make sure that there are no kinks or in your hose. Some people have these nice little lifts here to make sure that everything runs downhill, like the old saying goes. When you are ready to dump your tanks, you're going to pull your black handle first. You let everything flow through here. When it is done, go ahead and pull your gray handle. Now all the cleaner water, and again, the black is your sewer, the gray is for your showers and sinks, that will come through and rinse out anything that may have been left behind from your black tank. When you are ready to close up shop, boom, close your black valve. Close your gray valve, just like that. You go ahead and you disconnect. Don't set this on the ground yet. You can put your cap back on, and you can go ahead and put this back up into place. You're going to take this and you can do a couple of things with it. You can walk this down to where the shower is and take your exterior shower and run some water through here. Maybe you are at a dump station and they have one of the nice water outlets for you. Run some water through here, then take and lift it up as you walk over to where the fill is, or the dump is rather, and then it will all drain in there. Then you can take and store it into a nice plastic tub like this. And we'll talk about that hose and flushing your tanks when we get down. But the next item up, we do have cable and we do have electric. So let's talk cable first. What you are going to want to do if you enjoy the cable TV at the campground is this is where your coax goes. So you screw it into here like you would at your home, you run it into the campground, and now you'll be able to watch cable in here. But there are a couple of steps you need to do to switch between the TV antenna and the cable TV. We'll talk you through that when we talk entertainment inside. And now it is time to hook up power to our motorhome. So this is going to be a 30 amp coach. Depending on the ace that you have, it may be a 50 amp coach. And there's a little difference between here. This is a 30 amp cord, and this is a 50 amp cord. You can see the 50 amp cord is much bigger, it's thicker. You have 4 prongs on here. The 30 amp cord is a little bit smaller, and you have 3 prongs on your 30 amp cord. So depending on what model you have, this is the cord that will come with your motorhome. There are a couple of adapters here that we have we'll talk about, but let's go ahead and talk about connecting to your power. One of the things I like to do when I roll into the campsite is I like to hook up to my power as soon as I pull in. Before I put the jacks down, before I do anything else, I like to hook up to shore power. That way I have the power I need to make sure everything is up and running. My refrigerator's on. I can keep the air conditioners running. I'm going to be charging my batteries. I'll have the juice I need to put the jacks down. You'll find what works best for you. It's just a personal preference for me. So you take this end and you plug it into the outlet here, and you take the locking collar and you go ahead and screw that down, lock it into place. And this is a great way to, if there's somebody running by here or you're getting into one of the bays, it's locked into place and it isn't going to come out on you. Then you're going to take this end or this end, depending on what one you have, and as you walk over to the breaker box at the campsite, you're going to take and you're going to make sure that the breakers are in the off position. Then you go ahead and you plug in, and then you go ahead and you turn your breakers on. Now you will have power to your motorhome. There's a little light up top and you will be able to see that that is illuminated. Now you are sure you have power in your motorhome. When you are disconnecting, when you're ready to pull up and head out to your next site, you go over to the breaker box, you turn the breakers off and you unplug. So let's say you have a 50 amp ACE, okay, and you pull into a site and there are only 30 amp sites available. That happens. Well, that isn't going to be a problem because you happen to have bought yourself an adapter that looks just like this. And this is a great item to always carry with you because you never know when you may need it. So what you can do is plug this adapter in to your 50 amp plug. Then you can go ahead and you can plug this into the 30 amp receptacle. Now you will not get the 50 amps into your coach, so you won't be able to run both ACs if you have two ACs, along with the microwave, blow dry your hair, whip up a smoothie. You'll get 30 amps of power, but you'll still have a good time. You will still be fine. And if you do pop a breaker, we're going to talk about fuses and breakers in this video as well. We talked about your battery disconnect, we talked about winterizing, and we talked about possibly if you have the luxury of plugging in. Well, if you have an adapter like this, you can, and this is for a 30 amp service cord, you go ahead and you hook this up. Now you can take and plug this in, and this is a great thing to do. Maybe you have the option to plug in somewhere when you are loading. You can plug this in, you can get that refrigerator running overnight because the refrigerator does take a few hours to cool down. We'll talk a little bit about that when we go inside, but it's a great way to keep your batteries charging over a long period of time, keep your refrigerator running. So these adapters are a great thing to pick up before you head out on the road and carry them with you because you never know when you are going to need them. Now we talked about another bay down here. Let's open this, and it's only in this particular floor plan. This is the dump for your kitchen, and this is just a gray tank here. So this again is going to be just the water from your sink in your kitchen here, and this does the same thing. You hook up your hose and it goes through here, and then you go ahead and you pull that to go ahead and dump that. We do have an exterior shower we talked about. So if you do carry this over, you can take this shower and you can rinse it out here and then do it that way. If you would like to flush your tank, you can do that. We're gonna go ahead and put on the gloves again. Just always wear gloves when you're using anything that's sewer related, because again, it's a sewer, right? You don't want that on your hands. So if you would like to take and flush your tanks and make sure that everything is out, you're gonna use a different hose. Do not use this hose to flush your tanks. That would be a nasty, nasty thing to do. Your valve is right here. You go ahead, you open this, and you twist this on. Okay, now you are going to do a couple of things here. Hook this end up to the faucet at wherever, at the campground, your campsite, maybe it's at the dump station, but you do need to make sure that this is hooked up to the tank back there, okay? And then you're gonna open your black valve. And then you're gonna turn on the water, and the little jet's gonna go from here down to your black tank. And once it all out, when you're done, you go ahead, you turn your faucet off, you close up your black tank, and you disconnect. So that is how you dump and flush your tanks. And again, this is the only model that does have this particular setup here with the separate dump for your galley. You also have some water lines running through here. So we'll shut this up. We'll take the gloves off, and we'll talk about our city water connection. Now, a couple of things that are different between your city water and your tank fill. Again, you're going to use the same hose like this, and we talked about filling the tank on the other side. That is for when you are off the grid or you are at a campsite that only has an electrical connection. That is when you are going to need to take and turn your water pump on, and we're going to show you how to do that on the control panel. When you are hooked up to city water, if you are at a campsite that is a full service or it's just giving you water, you take this hose, you hook it up to your city water connection, you screw that in nice and tight, and then you take and you run this over to whatever spigot you're hooking up to. Maybe again, you're just at somebody's house and they're saying, yeah, you can use my water. That's not a big deal. You can also take one of those little disposable filters that you can find real cheap in the camping stores and put that on if you'd like a little extra filtration. Maybe the water at the campground is just really sulfury, whatever it may be, you can do that. So again, when you're hooked to the city water connection, you do not need to turn your water pump on. When you are running off your fresh water tank that you fill on the other side, you do need your water pump on. Gonna set this down, talk a little bit about our water heater. Okay, so you do have a water heater on here, works just like the water heater in your house. It is a lot smaller though. You do have a few things to do out here. You do, when you winterize your coach, this is where you're going to drain it. You remove this plug and the water will drain out of your water heater. We do have a complete video on winterizing your motorhome that we're going to put in the description for you below. But if you need to do service, you need to check things out, and when you winterize, this is where you access it. This little tab here is spring loaded. You work that through, pull it, twist it, down you go. Opening our next bay over here. Another nice large storage bay here. You got some pass through here that leads to the other side. Again, for fishing poles or a couple of pairs of skis, whatever it may be, you can put down in here. And there are a couple of things in here we do need to talk about as well. So let's say that your slide wall is out of sync, and that does happen because when you're putting your slides out, and we're going to walk you through that entire procedure, you hold the button down. Sometimes your finger will slip off the button, or maybe you'll pull into camp and the slide will be coming out and you realize you're a little too close to the picnic table. Maybe you're too close to the fire pit, branches, whatever it may be, and you stop. Well, over time, that is going to take and get the motors out of sync because there's a motor on each side and all they do is go in and out. And if your wall starts to get a little askew and you need to resync the motors, or in some cases, physically push the wall in, you're going to need to come down here, and this location is going to vary from floor plan to floor plan. Underneath there is just a little port, and there's a label that will tell you the error code of what's wrong with it. To reset it, you press it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then on the 7th, when the lights are flashing, you know that it is reset. So you can go ahead and you can try again to take and put the slides in and make sure that everything is working. Or if you need to physically push it in, there are 2 plugs here. You simply pull the plug out on the right and the left. You can take those out. That will release the motors. You can push it in that way as well. Then you put the plugs back in to lock the motors. We'll talk a little bit more about a neat little shortcut you can use to make sure that your motors are out of sync when we talk about the control panel. Again, you have a nice light in here. Another nice large storage bay. A couple more things to talk about as we move up front. This bay houses our propane tank. We talked a little bit about propane on the other side in the exterior propane connection. This is where we fill it up here, and it is going to be a first-time fill for you on this tank. So they are going to have to purge the air out. That's going to take a little while, but it'll be filled here, and you can get wherever you have propane filled, a hardware store, a campsite, you can go ahead and get it filled there. When they're done, the cap will get screwed back on. You have a bleeder valve, you do have your gauge here, and this is where you turn your propane on or off. Your propane will need to be on, depending on the mode you have your refrigerator on. You will need it for your furnace, you'll need it for your hot water. So make sure that you turn that on as well. But keep in mind there are roads and bridges and tunnels, and there are certain restrictions where you are not allowed to have your propane on. Make sure you're coming out here and you're turning it off in that situation, okay? So on, off, real easy to use, and it is a great feature to have. And again, it is a regulated connection, so in the event something is not giving you the flow you want when you're hooked up to the exterior propane connection, go ahead and remove the regulator from that. We do have our other mirror over here that we talked about the other one. This one works just the same. You have the camera, you can adjust it, it is heated. You adjust the bottom portion down here. Again, you can open this window from the inside, reach around and do it that way. We are gonna move around front. We're gonna pop the hood and talk about the V8 under the hood. Up front, we do have some marker lights up at the very top, a nice one-piece windshield. Nice brow. We'll talk about why the Ace has that and show you the storage options behind there. We have our windshield wipers, we have our headlights, and you're going to need this particular silver bullnose key that you are going to find on your key ring to open the hood. You put that in, you push and turn. Over here, push and turn. And underneath here, the Ford V8. This is the V8, the new Ford V8, 350 horsepower, 468 pound-feet of torque. Great driving engine for you. You're gonna do a little maintenance under here if you need to. Your windshield washer fluid is right down here if you need to fill that up. You do have your coolant in here as well. You do have your chassis battery in here. We showed you the house batteries on the other side. This is your chassis battery. You do have a 100 amp breaker up front as well. Make sure you are following the recommended service intervals on your motorhome. Your air box is up there. So this is where your engine is and how you access it. I'm going to close up, we're going to walk around, and we're going to head inside. Now it's time to set up camp. The first thing you're going to want to do when you come inside is take and put your jacks down. Your jacks do need to be down in order for you to put out your slide walls. And this is a real easy process to do. You want to make sure that your parking brake is on and you fire up your engine. Right over here is your one-touch leveling pad. All you're going to need to do is hit the on button and then you hit auto. Now your jacks will come down and they will level out your coach, and you'll feel them coming down. And the best practice is just kind of stay stationary. You don't want to walk in and out of the coach. You don't want to run back to the bathroom, grab your stuff. We know you're excited to get out there, but go ahead and let the coach level. A couple of things to keep in mind. You do want to make sure that all four wheels are on the ground when the jacks are done leveling, and you'll know they're done because this little icon will light up green. When that does light up and it is solid, you'll know that your coach is level. Walk outside, make sure all the four wheels are touching. In the event they are not, retract your jacks, put it into manual mode. Now you can manually retract your jacks. You can do it in pairs. Either put down the two in front with the front button, the two in the rear with the rear button, the left side or the right side simply by touching these buttons. One thing that's always a great idea to carry with you, maybe in that little storage bay we showed you in the very back over here on the campsite, some jack pads. There are a number of campgrounds that do require you to use jack pads when you set up. It will usually tell you in the description. Make sure you're carrying those with you. If you are dry camping somewhere, if you are on soft gravel, you're going to want to use some jack pads to make sure that your coach is level and you don't bury them into the dirt or wherever. When it is time to retract your jacks, you're going to do the same process. You're going to make sure that your parking brake is on. You're going to make sure that you do have your ignition running. You're going to take and put your slide walls in, and then you will go ahead and retract your jacks. In order to do that, you simply hit retract all, and the jacks will come up. In the event for some reason you put your slides in and you forget that your jacks are down, as soon as you start the motor, release the parking brake, put it into drive, you're going to hear some beeping. It's going to set off some alarms, and the jacks will automatically come up as emergency precaution. But just make sure that you are following all these procedures and you should have no worries. While we're up here, let's take a walk through the dash, show you some of the features, and then we'll head back to the control panel. We'll put out our slide walls and we'll talk about how all of those features work. We'll start right over here, the driver's side control panel right below your one-touch leveling jacks. You do have the control for your mirror heat. You press that up, the light will come on. Now you now have heat on the mirror to take the frost off. This is how you're going to take and adjust your mirrors just like in your car. You can move them up, you can down. The bottom mirror, pull this little latch down to open the window. You open it, you can reach through, and you can adjust the convex mirror down at the bottom, and the same on the other side. You're going to want to have somebody take and adjust that for you when you are outside. Nice cup holder here. You do have USB charging ports. You have two up here. You can set your phone up there to charge while you are on the road. The radio does have Bluetooth. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Speaker down here for the radio. You do have an emergency start feature as well. This is really nice. Remember how we talked about that battery disconnect switch and keeping it in the on position? And this is another reason why you're going to want to do that. You have your chassis battery up front. We showed you the house batteries in the bay. In the event you say leave your lights on or whatever it may be and you drain your chassis battery, you can take and start the motorhome with your house battery using the emergency start switch because we have everything tied together. You hit the emergency start button and then you turn your key, and then you will take and draw power from your house batteries into your chassis battery and your motorhome will start. You can also reverse the process too, so it's a really nice feature to have. You have a vent for your AC or your heat, whatever it may be up here. Down here you do have control for your headlights. New on the 2021 model year, auto headlights, you can go ahead and turn that to the little A, and now your headlights will come on automatically when it gets dark outside. You can adjust those in the menu as well. And over to the left and the right, you can dim or brighten the dash display. So we're going to go ahead and leave those in auto. We're going to talk a little bit about your dashboard here. This is new, and you do have a number of features that you can control through your steering wheel. This side over here is going to control your menus. This is for your cruise control. This is for your radio. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So let's go out. Your main gauge shows you how many miles are on the odometer, how many miles to empty. You can scroll through. You have trip meters. You have a timer. You can scroll back to your trip meters, how much gas you're averaging, your outside temperature. You go down past your trip meters. You have your fuel economy. You have your driver's assist, how many hours are on the engine. You have some maintenance reminders, how much oil life you have left. You go into the settings menu. You go into vehicle lighting. You can control the lighting, the auto lamp delay. That's what we had just talked about there. Wiper controls. Do you want the courtesy wipe at the end? When you're done, you want one more just to make sure that it's cleared. You can scroll through your display settings as well. Do you want this in Fahrenheit? Do you want it in Celsius? Your temperature, language. So a couple of settings right through there you can use. Again, your cruise control down here going to work just like in your car. Turn it on, turn it off, resume, cancel, set. You can accelerate or decelerate. You have your gear shift over here. You're going to go ahead and choose your drive mode. You have a tow haul mode here. If you are towing or hauling, you can go ahead and hit that button. A little trailer will light up on the dashboard to know you are in your tow haul mode. You can shift your gears if you're in manual as you are going up and down some mountain roads and you want to adjust and select your gear. You can do that through here. You have your tachometer. You have your speedometer, you have oil temperature, you do have your transmission temperature, your gas gauge, and your coolant temperature. So you have all the gauges up here you need. As we move down, another air conditioning vent, you can go ahead and adjust. Talking about our radio. Let's talk about HVAC first, as we just talked about vents, and this is real simple to get into. You do have your fan speed, your air conditioner, you can recirculate your air, your temperature control, and then what vents. Do you want to defrost? Do you want it to come out at your feet? Do you want to mix? So you can control that there. We do have our infotainment center, which is really nice and updated this year. A lot of features on here. You have a few ways to control this. You can control this from this pad here on your steering wheel, so you don't have to take your eyes off the road. You can choose your source by hitting the source button. You can control your volume, and you can skip tracks as well. And let me get back to our home screen, which you can do a number of ways. You can go down here and you can hit the home menu. And back to the home menu, you have a couple of modes down here. You can choose your mode here, your band, your volumes here, but again, you can control that from here so you're not fishing around down there while you're driving. Let's talk about all of the features that we do have as we're back on our home screen. The nice thing is this is a swipe screen right here. You just swipe back and forth. Starting here with our radio. You hit radio and your radio comes up. You tune in, you want your FM, your AM. There's an equalizer setting as well, so you can kind of pump up the bass if you like. Sirius XM satellite radio, you'll have to get a subscription, and you can choose, boy, satellite radio, anything that you want on there. When you are connected to Apple Android or Google, no, Apple Android. I just started a war. When you're connected to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, if you have the Sirius XM app on your phone, you can use it that way as well. And as we're talking about Android Auto, real easy to use. You have your USB plug it in down below. You plug it into your phone and it will pull up your, here we go. We're gonna launch our Android Auto, so now you can use your favorite navigation. There are a lot of... You can rock out to Judas Priest if that's what you were listening to. That is the Unleashed in the East album, which is still my favorite Judas Priest album. But now you know my musical taste. I love rocking out to Priest. So there is your navigation system. You can hit this little button, Maps, Sirius XM, your phone, news, calendar, Amazon Music, all kinds of whatever you have on your phone. You can listen to podcasts, reminders, your weather, tune in radio. So all kinds of apps here that you can use through Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I love using Android Auto and obviously rocking out to Judas Priest. As we remove that to take you through the rest of the settings here, you have your rear camera. We showed you that in the back. You hit the camera button and it will show you what is behind you at all times when you're on the road. Again, when you put it in reverse, it will automatically come on. And while we're here, let's go ahead and turn on our directionals. So we talked about the cameras on the mirror. This is our right directional. You can clearly see down the side of the coach. Look at that field of vision. You'll clearly see everything behind you. That is a great feature to have. And again, those will go on when you turn on your directional, and then when you turn the directional off, it will eventually go back to whatever mode you had last. We did have the back camera on, so we're going to go back to the home screen. Bluetooth phone, I do have my phone connected. It is ready to go. Your call logs, if there's music, you can dial from here. And again, it's a great hands-free call, because in most states now you are not allowed to be holding that up to the headset, the handset up to your ear. So this is a great way to do that. Bluetooth audio, again, we have our phone paired. We can go through if you want to rock out to Judas Priest, you're more than welcome to. I also have some Anthrax and Metallica and some Beastie Boys and some Cure on here. So you're more than welcome to make your own playlist, but that's what's on mine at the time being. If you'd like to really set the EQ and dial it in for these speakers, you have a couple of different modes. It comes in default, and you can go through to listen to the soft sounds. Some pop music. Maybe you got the kids and they want to hear some Taylor Swift. She's got some good music too. I do like her 1989 album. I think that is a really good album. Maybe you're into some dance music. You're going to have a little rave in here. You can set it to electric. The nice thing is you have speakers on each side here, and you have speakers in the back over the couch, so you can set the zones, whatever you want to listen to. Maybe some cool jazz. Maybe you got some Miles Davis playing, some rock. We know who in this video is listening to the rock music. That would be me. Some classic. So whatever you want, you can go through with your equalizer. Some settings in here. You can set the date. You can set the time. Do you want it 12-hour, 24-hour? Do you want it to beep? Where are you at? All factory default. If you mess something up, you can always go through and set it there. And that is a quick look at your radio. Down below here, we do have the USB-A plug where we plugged in our phone. Traction control, you can turn it on or off here. You'll get an icon on the dash whether it's on or off. You have your hazard lights here. You can turn those on or off. And then you have a 12-volt charging port as well. Lots of storage space here, some sunglasses, some change, a map, some Slim Jims for the road. You have some drink holders here, and we're going to move over to the other side because the passenger gets some sweet bells and whistles as well. Over on the passenger side, this is a great setup here, as you have plenty of time when you are making those longer trips. The driver has all of the toys over here, but you are not to be left out. This flip-out dash workstation is really a multi-functional place to use. So let's say you're on the road, you adjust your seat. Maybe you got a laptop up here, you can plug it in through, maybe you have a little port here, you have two 12 volts you can plug in if your computer will do that. But like most, just plug it down here to the 110. Make sure your generator is on in order for these to be fired up. And again, as we talked about using your generator while you're driving, it's another great reason to do that. You're going to keep your devices charged. I like this little feature too. You can set your phone right in there while you are typing away. So let's pretend we have our laptop set up. You're typing away. We have in the ACE lineup, and actually every single Thor Motor Coach product has the WineGuard Connect 2.0 4G hotspot and Wi-Fi extender. So what this is going to allow you to do is set up your own safe, secure internet connection you can use while you're driving. There's an antenna on the top that acts as your radio antenna, your FM antenna, your TV antenna, and you can either, you download the app, you can either choose your data plan through WineGuard, or if you like your current provider, get a SIM card and install that on top. Now you have data, and you can set your own password, which will be used whether you are connected to a Wi-Fi signal somewhere when you're set up, or for that hotspot, and everybody will have the same password, which is really nice. So you have that set up, you're driving down the road, you're typing away, you're taking pictures out the window. I'm having a great time in my ACE. Wish you were here. Send, post, whatever it is, you can do that from here. And we're going to talk about some of the other great options involved with that 4G hotspot that you've created when we talk a little bit about the TVs. The other great feature for this that my wife likes to use, she calls this the Tracy station, is when it's me, it's my wife, and I have two teenage daughters, so there's no bathroom time for me. I get ready in the woods whenever we are out traveling. That's just what I do. She uses this as a vanity. She sets a little makeup up here. You got some nice natural light. You know, you have a little light here if you need a little more light. You have storage up here for eyeshadows and eyeliners if that's what you need, if the sun's too bright coming in and melting your makeup. You can turn this down right there. You have a nice little visor there. You feel like a bus driver, but she uses this as a vanity to get ready. So really multi-purpose. The kids love to eat breakfast here in the morning and look out at the lake or wherever it is we're camping. So The flip-out dash workstation is really, really convenient. What's also nice is when you're done, these seats swivel. They spin around, open up into your living area, but in order for us to do that, we need to put our slide walls out. So I'm going to walk to the back, we're going to take a look at the control panel, and we're going to go ahead and put our slides out. Here's your control panel. This is where you're going to control a lot of features and functions. The first thing we want to do though is open this up, get some room in here, and put out our slides. So again, our parking brake is on. Our engine is running just like when we put the jacks down. You come over here and you hit the extend button. Now the slide will go out. You can hear it going out, and this is a real simple, easy way to get your slides synced up when they are all the way out. And we'll listen for the motor noise you need to hear to make sure that everything is fully engaged and your motors are synced up. We're almost there. All right, so you kind of heard that little kick back at the end. That way you know your motors are synced up. When you hit the extend or retract button, hold it down for an extra 3 to 5 seconds to make sure that they are synced up. Now we did talk about some situations where you may have your finger slip off the button, or you're putting the slide wall out and you were too close to the picnic table or the fire pit, and your slide motors got a little bit out of whack. Well, you can kind of sync those up from here with the little shortcut. What you need to do is think about the last direction you put your slide out. So from here, we were extending it. So you're going to start on the retract button, and it's a couple of quick touches. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you heard both motors synced up. So now the motors are synced up. Now for the bedroom slide, it works the same way. The switch is not here. It's physically in the bedroom. You put it out the same way. You hit the extend button, you put it out, you bring it in by hitting the retract button. This is a foldable bed, so you're going to have to make sure that the mattress is flipped over in order for you to put that wall in. It's as easy as that. As we work our way down, now that our slide is out, we have a little more room in here. Let's go over the rest of this panel. We do have our generator controls here. Here you can see how many hours are on the generator, and again there's a maintenance schedule in here that you do need to follow. This is your start and stop. This works just like the button we showed you outside on the generator itself. You do have to prime it. You hold down stop. Okay, that primes it. That's going to heat things up, going to get some gas in the carburetor. You can see the light is on, and then to start it you simply hold the start button down, fires right up. Okay, and it is going to take a few seconds in order for it to fire everything up in the motorhome, because there's a transfer switch, and what that is going to do is determine your source of power. It will take and recognize, are we running off the generator? Are we plugged into the 30 amp or 50 amp shore power service? And once it makes that determination, it will send that source of power into the motorhome. You will know that your generator and everything is fired up when your microwave kicks on. You'll hear it ding, and then you'll know, okay, everything's powered up, we're good to go. But we're going to go ahead and shut that off as we continue the rest of our panel tour here. Right over here you have a number of different gauges, from propane, your battery, your fresh tank, your black tank, and your gray tank. Now remember that this does have 2 gray tanks, and you can monitor those from here. All you have to do is press the button, and it will tell you, is it empty, a third, 2/3, or is it full? Now again, this is a brand new coach at the factory, so these are all going to be empty except for your battery. That's going to be full. Your fresh tank, your black tank, your gray tank. This is how you know when you are going to need to drain your tanks, and it's recommended you drain your tanks when they're full. A lot of people like to go to the campgrounds and pull their valves open and leave them there the entire time. We recommend when your tanks are full, that's when you go out and you drain them. As we move down, a couple other buttons we want to talk about here. We talked about our slide buttons. This is your water pump. Remember, your water pump needs to be on, and you can hear it run. It will kick on when you turn it on. When you are running off your fresh water tank for your showers or your toilets or your sinks, your water pump needs to be on. When you're connected to the city water, you do not need your water pump on. Over here we do have a water heater. Propane needs to be on in order for you to use your water heater. This is going to be your main burner for your water heater. Okay, this is going to take and heat it up much, much faster than if you turn on your electric. But the nice thing is that when you're plugged into shore power, turn them both on. So your LP will take and bring that water temperature up, make it nice and hot for those steamy showers, and then your 110 will take and maintain that. If you have your propane off and you try to go strictly off of 110, you'll never be able to get this up to temperature that you want. It's just going to take a long, long time, and you'll be taking cold showers. You won't be happy. Turn your propane on and you're good to go. Now, some floor plans may have a panel that looks like this. This is going to say tank heaters, and this is where you turn the tank heaters on for your black and your gray tanks. If you are somewhere where it is cold and frosty, you don't want your tanks to freeze up, turn these two switches to on. While we're up here, a couple other things to talk about. A nice storage bay up here. You can put flashlights in there, or some umbrellas. You can take your coat off from the outside, hang it right in here. I love having these little coat closets right here. We're going to step back a bit and talk about some of the switches we're going to see right down here as you walk up the entry steps. We talked about the locks on the outside of the door. You can control them from the inside as well. The top is going to be your deadbolt, and the bottom is going to be your handle. Switches and dials. Here is your battery disconnect switch. You can see it is now in the 3 o'clock position. Keep it there, leave it there. We put our awning in and out. I did that with this switch right here, clearly labeled in and out. The steps we talked about, this is going to take and control that step, whether you want it out the entire time or to bring it in when the door closes. Remember to make sure that it is in the position that the step comes in when your door closes before you leave, because that would be a horrible situation for your motorhome and other cars by you. And the light for the step, there's a little light in here you can turn on. That's what this makes, a nice little night light. Down here you have that bay we showed you for muddy shoes. And right up here, a couple other switches. This one right over here is going to control the lights in the motorhome, the ceiling lights, and this one controls the lights for your awning. And again, this is going to vary from motorhome to motorhome. Opposite our control panel, you'll see a key and a switch on this wall. This is going to start our tour. We're going to start up front and head back, and this is an overhead bunk, which is a really great sleeping option. It is key operated. You have an off position and an on position, and a switch clearly labeled raise and lower. What you want to do is hit lower when you are ready to take and lower the bed. And it will come down just like this. Remember I talked about that brow out front? This is what's really great about having that. Look at how deep those storage bays are. So whoever is living up here for your trip, backpacks, pillows, blankets, stuffed animals, tablets, video games, whatever you need, everything will fit up there. You have a ladder, you go ahead, you put this into place, and you can climb right up. When you are done, you just take and you simply hit raise. And up the bunk goes. You can store the ladder and you are good to go. What's really nice about this feature too is you see how deep that these storage bins are. Well, you can go ahead when you're going on an excursion or you're parked in town. Yeah, throw the purse up there, throw the valuables up there, whatever it may be. When this locks into place, you simply pull your key out there and it's like a little safe. So it's very, very nice and very handy and very convenient. Now that the bunk is up, we're going to start with the swivel captain's chairs. We'll show you the pedestal table. We'll talk about booth dinettes and sofas and beds and kitchens, a lot more to go. So let's spin around and show you how to live in your Ace. Let's talk a little seating in your Ace, because there are a lot of options. Depending on your floor plan, it is going to lay out different. Maybe you're going to have a couch. Maybe you're going to have theater seats. You have a dinette. But they all have a lot of similarities, including these driver's seat. Not only are they great for the long haul, but on the side, there's a little lever. Pull the lever, and they turn around and become part of your living area. Do the same thing over here. Pull the lever, and out they come. But here's what's great about this. Back in the closet, which is where this is typically stored, I just moved it up here for convenience reasons. A table. This is really great. You pop this into place, pop your table into place, spin this around. Now you're having a drink, you're playing Yahtzee, the crazy dice game, whatever it is. Great for meals. A nice little setup here becomes part of your living area. As we talk about our sofa, I do want to bring to your attention as well the seat belts in here. You have 2 seat belts on the sofa, 2 at the dinette, so you have seat belts for 4, and then you have, of course, the seat belts for your drivers and your passengers. We're going to take a look at all the features over here around the sofa area. You have a nice shelf with cup holders. We talked a little bit about windows. If you want a breeze blowing in, you simply turn clockwise to open and you turn counterclockwise to close. The screens can pop off. You have nice blinds to come down to block out the sun. You have privacy curtains up front. Those are here All you have to do is take the Velcro off and you wind those around, and you do the same for the other side, and then at night you'll have nice privacy there to keep out all of the peepers, or to keep out the bright sunlight we'll talk about when we talk about adjusting our AC. Lots of storage again, lots of large cabinets. This is where your Blu-ray player is going to be. We're going to talk about your television in just a few minutes. So you're sitting here, you're having a great time, you're watching TV, you're tired, you want a place to sleep. All you have to do, flip that down into a jackknife sofa. You'll go ahead and you'll tuck your seat belts underneath. That way you're not getting a seat belt in the back while you sleep. And there you go. You got USB charging ports up here so you can keep your device charged. There are the speakers we talked about. You have reading lights that are controlled with the push button. Just like that. Then in the morning, you simply take and put this right back into place. For the kids that sleep here, parents, I just do want to give you a heads up. If this is where your kids are going to sleep and they wake up in the morning and they say, hey, I can't find my whatever it may be, just lift this up halfway and there's a really good chance that it's dropped down there. That's what happens to all my kids' stuff when they're sleeping down. You're going to find this. Probably slipped under the couch. Moving over to your dream dinette, this is another great area for you. You have storage on each side. You can keep all your board games there, whatever it may be. You have 110 plugs under here as well. You're sitting here, you have some lights up above that are controlled with switches in the kitchen. All four of you are here. You have your TV here, and again, this makes into a bed with just the flip of a switch. So what you're going to do is take and you're going to move your cushions, hand them over to your couch helper. They'll sit there. You just lift your cushions up. Again, you'll take and you'll tuck your seat belts away. And then you take and you turn the handle and you push down and you put your cushions right back into place. And now you have another place up front to sleep. Just work these in. And there you go, just like that, you have a nice bed. It reverses in the morning. All you do is you move your cushions again, you lift this up, you lift this up, you lock it right back into place, put your cushions down, and your cushions right back here. And now you're back to traveling or dining mode. While we're up here, let's talk a little bit about the TV. You do have a number of TVs in the motorhome, along with a number of remote controls and some entertainment options. So let's get into this cabinet right here. Your Ace is going to come with a number of remote controls for your television, for the Bluetooth soundbar we showed you outside, for your Blu-ray player, which is included. This is a Blu-ray player. You know how to work that, but what you may not know how to work is this little switch right up here. We showed you how to hook up the cable at the campground. When you do that, make sure that the light on this is off. Now you can take your TV and you can go through and scan for the cable channels, just like you would at home. If you want to watch local channels wherever you are, to grab a local forecast, whatever it may be, you press this button, make sure the arrow is, or the light is green. When the light is green, you can go ahead and scan the TV for your local channels. And again, that WineGuard Connect up top is the antenna for your TV. You have a couple of extra plugs here as well. So let's say you have a streaming device or a video game. You can use these HDMI plugs to plug right into the back of that, and then you can go ahead and switch the source on your TV and use it that way. If you created your own 4G hotspot, or maybe you're tapped into the Wi-Fi somewhere else, you can use that signal for your Roku or your Apple TV, whatever it may be, and catch your favorite shows there. So some great entertainment options for you. We are going to move over to the kitchen and talk about what you have to prepare great meals while you're on the road. Great kitchen in the Ace, and the layout is going to vary from floor plan to floor plan. You may have your kitchen on this side, it may be located on the other side. Wherever it is, you have all the same tools that can help you prepare fantastic meals when you are on the road. Starting with your microwave. It's a microwave. You know how to use this. You have popcorn, potato, pizza, a couple of pre-selected items there, and you go ahead and you microwave and heat up your meals that way. Your Hot Pockets, whatever it is. Down here, you do have a 3-burner gas cooktop with glass cover, which is nice because you can use this as a little extra counter space if you need, or if you are cooking, you just simply flip that up. Maybe you put a cookbook here and you light your burners. You do this by turning this to the gas icon. Again, your propane needs to be on for this. Once it is there, you go ahead and you strike the igniter. That will light the burners, and you'll know each burner is labeled from your rear to your front. You also have an oven in this motorhome. Bake some cookies, whatever it may be, roast a chicken. Turn on the fancy blue lights. That's pretty nice, right? So in order to light your oven, same situation. Turn this, push in, turn to the lighting icon, the little flame icon, and then you strike your igniter. That'll light up, and then you can adjust your temperature and go ahead and bake away. So some great cooking options here. A lot of great counter space. You have some plugs up above. You have some lights you can control. You have a fan up above, so if something's burnt, you put the cookies in too long, you can exhaust right here. You can open up here and get some nice flow through. You can also turn this fan off through the switch here. Make sure they are closed before you're leaving. We also have right up above here, we do have another vent we'll show you that you can control and open, get some circulation through, but that particular vent fan has a cover on it, so if it's raining you can still get some nice airflow through here. Keeping in the kitchen here, a lot of storage for you. We do have lots of drawer space. We do have cabinets up above. That is where your microwave plugs into, adjustable shelves for your Cocoa Pebbles or your Count Chocula. You do have a nice large sink here, pull down sprayer, and you have a couple of settings here, right? So you can spray or you can stream to wash up those dishes. So some real nice settings in the kitchen here. You also have a nice double door refrigerator. So we're gonna swing around. We're gonna talk about your refrigerator, your pantry, and go over your HVAC. Right across from our kitchen, we do have another large pantry here. You have nice wooden pull-out drawers. You can store whatever you need in there. You have more storage up top. And this is our double door fridge. I want to spend a few minutes talking to you about this. Yes, you have a couple of areas. You have your freezer, you have some shelves, you have your refrigerator right down here, and you have your controls right here. All right, so you have your on button, you have your mode, and you have your temperature settings. So we're going to go ahead and turn this on. On the thermostat here, you have snowflake icons. The more snowflakes you have, the colder the refrigerator is, so you can go ahead and you can set the temperature up here. Through your mode, you have a couple of options here. When you press your mode button, you have A for automatic, you have a little teardrop there for symbolizing propane, and you have a little outlet there for your shore power. The best practice is to keep and turn that into the A for the automatic. That way it knows whether to cool the refrigerator using propane or to cool the refrigerator using the electric. So set it to auto. A couple of things to keep in mind when you are getting ready to pack up. If you have the opportunity to plug in before you go to get your refrigerator cold, that would be a wonderful thing to do, because it is going to take about 6 or 7 hours for this new refrigerator to get to operating temperature to keep everything nice and cold. So if you can plug in the night before, make sure that you cool your refrigerator down before you load it. Right over here in this particular floor plan is where the thermostat is located. Some models do have 2 air conditioners. You'll have a thermostat located throughout the motorhome in different places that all works the same here. This is very much like the old school thermostat you used to have in your house before the real fancy digital ones you control with your app. So here's how this works. You have a couple of settings over here on your system. Do you want cool for the AC? Do you want the fan? Turn it off. Do you want heat? Over here, your fan. High, low on auto, or you can keep the fan on high or low at all times. This is your thermostat. You adjust the thermostat to the temperature that you want, be it your AC or your furnace. Couple things to keep in mind here when you are out and you are going to be using your air conditioning unit. Let's say that it is 90 degrees outside, okay? And you want to cool it down to 70 in here. So you set your thermostat at 70. That is a 20-degree difference, and that is not what you want to do. What you're going to end up doing in this situation is overworking your air conditioner. You're going to freeze the coils up. That's going to take 6-7 hours to defrost. The AC isn't going to work when you want it to. It is not going to be a good experience for you at all. 10 to 15 degrees, that's where you want it to go. So let's say that it is 90 degrees outside. Where should you set it? You can go 80, maybe down to 75. That's about 15 degrees, 90 to 75, 15. So what you're going to do is set it there. When the temperature gets to right where you want it and it's cycling on and off at 75, and you go to 74. then 73, then 72, and you get the idea, right? You slowly have to adjust that. How do you avoid that? Great question. Here's what you can do to help you out. In the morning, when it's nice and cool and you wake up, that's when you want to set your thermostat. So if you know, okay, it is going to be 85 degrees today and I want it 70 degrees in here, or it's going to be 90, I want it 70, whatever it is, go ahead and set that to 70 degrees. That way throughout the course of the day, it will maintain that 70-degree temperature. You are not going to take and freeze up your coils. You're going to be all set. On the heater side, again, we showed you your furnace event, and you can hear the furnace kick on. I just turned it on there. We're going to turn that off. I don't want to get it too toasty in here. Remember, your propane needs to be on in order for you to use your furnace, and that is your thermostat, just like that. A couple more things to show you in here. We do have to walk through the bedroom and the bathroom, so let's go ahead and start in the bath. Here in your bathroom, just like your bathroom at home, all the amenities you need. You are going to have plenty of space to store your towels and your fancy soaps that smell like flowers, towel hooks. You have your sink, toilet paper, more storage down below where you can access the traps for your sinks if you need to clog out. I know, I just unclogged our sinks at home and pulled out teenage daughters, right? Get some hair in there, so you can clean that out that way. Let's talk a little bit about your toilet here. You do have a nice porcelain toilet in this motorhome. This is a foot flush toilet, meaning you flush it with your foot. A couple of things you want to keep in mind. Most important is the type of toilet paper you're using. Make sure you're using an RV or a marine grade toilet paper. Anything else is going to clog this up. It is not going to be a fun trip in that event. Make sure you're using the correct toilet paper. When you're using the toilet, go ahead, hold this down, hold the foot flush down about halfway, fill the bowl up with water, do your business. Hold it down all the way to flush. Hold it down a few seconds, make sure everything is out. Let up, and you're good to go for the next person who comes in and uses this. And again, you can check your tank levels on the control panel and dump as necessary. Over here, we do have our shower, depending on your floor plan. The bathroom layout's going to be a little different. Maybe you have a sliding glass door, but you are going to have your shower head on a wand like that, wash high, wash low. And I love this feature. Love this feature in the Ace, and this location is going to vary from floor plan to floor plan. A lot of people travel with their pets, and we want to make sure, especially in the Ace, that they are taken care of as well. We showed you the doggy window, the pet tie down, but check this out. Dog dish. Put some fresh dog drinks in there, some of their favorite food. You can pop it out, wash it out. It's FDA approved. Nice little feature for them. They have their own space. And, you know, knock before, if the dog's at knock before you come in. The dogs don't want to be disturbed, but a nice little dog dish there as well. Up above, we have a skylight. We have another fan, works just like the one in the kitchen. You can open it up. You have switches for your light and your fan on the wall. Next to that, we talked a little bit about your GFCI outlet in the event you are finding outlets that are not working. This is where you're going to want to reset it, and it's just like the one you have at your home. In the event that the light is green, that means it is tripped. You can come back here, hit the reset button, and the light will go off, and there's a really good chance that those outlets, such as the exterior ones, will be working again. In the event that doesn't work, after we tour the bedroom, we're going to show you where all your fuses and breakers are and how to check those out. Here in the bedroom, we have the slide out, and we talked about this being a foldable mattress. So after your slide is out, you simply take and flip your mattress into sleeping position, just like that. You do have some USB ports over on each side to keep your devices charged. Over in this drawer here, you have a 12 volt, so if you have a CPAP machine while you're on the road, you can easily plug it in there. You have overhead reading lights, which makes it really nice. You have your window shades back here. Again, you can open your windows, let in a little air. These open a little differently. You take and you hold this in, and then you can go ahead and open your window that way. But do not take and use this window back here for ventilation. This here is an emergency window. In the event you would need to escape, you go ahead, you flip this latch, you push this out, the window will fall away, and you can climb out into safety. It is just that easy. We do have a TV back here that is connected to the ports up front. You can scan your local channels. You can do whatever you need to do back here with your TV. Right up above, we do have another fan for you for some circulation. You can go ahead and open that, or maybe you just like the white noise from that as well. And that is your bedroom. I'm going to flip this bed back up into this position because right underneath is our converter. It's our fuse box. So let's take a walk through that and show you how it works. Down below the bed, a few items I want to point out. Right over here, you would have a propane and a carbon monoxide detector. So in the event you would hear the alarm, go ahead and exit the coach, but we do keep you safe. There are fire extinguishers in here as well as smoke detectors up top on the roof. But again, this is your propane and carbon monoxide detector here. This is your fuse box, your converter, the CPU of your electronics in this motorhome. And this is great because this is really the best of both worlds. You do have your automotive 12-volt fuses over here, and you do have the breakers just like the ones in your house. What this does is when you have power coming in after it goes through the transfer switch, whether you're coming through your generator or you're plugged into shore power, this is going to come into here, and then it's going to send all the 12-volt power to the 12-volt devices and the 110 to the 110 devices. In the event something's not working, you can open this up. Everything is clearly labeled from your microwave to your GFCI outlets to your water heater, whatever it is. If these are tripped, reset them like you would at home. Over here are your 12-volt blade style automotive fuses. They are clearly labeled as well. If something's not working, come in, make sure they are securely into place. If you do need to replace one, it's important to point out, let's say that your appliance goes out and it's this 15 amp fuse here. You're not going to want to take and say, oh, all I have is a 20 or a 30 and put it in. Don't do that. Same thing goes the other way. Don't replace a 20 with a 15. Make sure you're using the proper amperage fuses for your converter. Works just like that, and we always make this accessible for you, whether it is below the bed or in the hallway. Again, this is going to vary from location to location, but we always make it so you can get to it without having to put the slides out. That way you can troubleshoot and have no problems. A few more features I want to show you in the bedroom, including the size of your closet. Someone's in here. You have a nice privacy curtain for your bedroom. You also have a pocket door if you would like to go ahead and close the door, and a very large wardrobe. That table we showed you up front, that is where this stores. There are snaps. There's a place for the leg that it stands on. You have a closet rod, you have a light back here, and you have a number of drawers as well. So that is your closet. We do have a few more things to talk about, and that includes your warranty guide. The last item I want to talk about is this black bag. You're going to find this in your ACE, and it is chock full of information that you're going to want to take in. A lot of manuals in here, a lot of warranty cards. Each and every appliance in here has its own warranty. There's a card in here for that. You're going to fill that out and send it in. You're also going to find the warranty guide for your ACE. Pull out a couple of things in here. Here's our warranty guide. You have a 12-year structural, a 6-year lamination, and a 1-year limited warranty. To keep up with that warranty, you're going to want to go through here and make sure you are following the warranty guide and this process and the steps so you can keep up to date on your warranty. You're also going to find this owner's manual. This is a great resource for you. We touched on a number of topics today. You may not remember them. You want something at your fingertips right away, you can go ahead and go through here. I mean, it's everything that we covered in detail. It's really a great piece of information for you to have with you. Make sure you're reading this. Make sure you're reading the manuals for your radio, for your dash. Everything else is included in here. That way you know how to operate everything before you hit the road. Now, we did talk about a couple of things, including that inverter that powers certain outlets. There's plumbing in this motorhome. There's a lot of wiring in this motorhome. So if you want a certain schematic or a diagram, all you have to do is go to thormotorcoach.com, click on the Owners tab, then go down to Owners Resources. You will create an account, you type in your VIN. Now every single component in your motorhome is at your fingertips. Maybe you want to take a look at that MSRP sticker again. You have it. Quick start guides, they're right here. Walkthrough videos, a number of walkthrough videos you can find right there. We're going to post a number of those in the description of this video, but if you're looking for something specific, you will find it there. It is absolutely free for you to use, so we recommend you go ahead and sign up. It's a great tool, and you can access it from your phone, from your laptop, if you're on the road. Wherever you need is the owner's resource page on thormotorcoach.com. I hope you found this helpful, and you are going to have a great time no matter where you happen to journey in your ACE.